What's going on? Today I'm gonna make a little video review of my Peregrine field gear bank fishing setup. Let me first say this is expensive in terms of if you're just a casual bank fisher that, goes fishing occasionally a couple times a year. I wouldn't expect anybody to spend. I think this was like, I can't remember what I paid, but it was under 200 bucks. It was maybe 180, 160, something like that, whatever. And so when you compare, a lot of people will say 180 bucks for a bucket is outrageous. And I can kind of see that if it was just a bucket and, whatever. But when you compare it to, say, some of these guys out here buying, kayaks or boats or, a couple $100 reels and rods, it's not that expensive in the spectrum of things for an avid bank fisher. And I use it when, you can fish from docks or rocks or sand or whatever. It's good for, all of those environments. All right. I recorded this video, then I realized, I should probably start by explaining, some details, right? So my name's Kyle. I'm a plumber in the Kansas City area, and I enjoy fishing. I'm not an influencer. I'm not a paid spokesman. I'm just a everyday, regular, normal, average guy. And I like to go fishing. And so everything you see in the video is just stuff I bought, over the course of history and time. So nobody sent me anything. I'm not paid to say good or bad things about anyone or anything. So there's that. You always got to make that disclaimer, because these days you never know. There's so many paid people, and then you get a product and you're like, this thing sucks. What's the rage about? Anyways, so let me say this Peregrine bucket. If you've ever gone, if you do a lot of bank fishing, like, I'm not going to buy a boat, I'm not going to buy a kayak. I thought about it, but I'm like, I like being able to just bank fish, just park, walk up to the water, start fishing, just, and I've had plenty of success, and I've seen plenty of people also have success. I mean, I don't know how much advantage there is to having a boat, that it would outweigh the costs and expense of property taxes and registrations and licensing and all the nonsense that comes along with it. It turns a basic fishing trip into a full day ordeal. So I have, in my work van, I just keep a small rod and like a fanny pack, and then we'll go, if I've got an hour between jobs, I'll just find a local pond and just go fishing for some, panfish on ultralight gear. I might do a video on that stuff later today too. So, but anyways, that's the initial caveat. So they make a bright blue one that I think's a little obnoxious, but I mean, maybe it works with your boat or whatever. Let me say, I always get these golf towels and just hang them so I can wipe my hands. This one's kind of, it's dirty from all the like strawberry jello and junk. Got to get that nonsense off my hand. Before we get into it, we'll go over the outside stuff. So there's supposed to be these rod holders where this unfolds, and then there's a little flap that comes out for the bottom of the rod. This one still has it. That one actually ripped off. And so here you can see how this is like frayed. This works for a small rod, but if you're doing some serious bank, like river, here, let me grab the bottom of this river rod. See how it's like got a bowl there? It's like this rod is never gonna fit. And so that goes in there, and then you have this up here, and it's like, I used it more for my landing net than anything. And then they have these little pockets you can put them if you're not using it, which I think was excessive. Like I said, this one just ripped off. These I don't really use. It's just maybe a wasted feature, I guess. But there is the molly webbing up here, so you can attach, like this net. Or I've got a net bag coming that I'm going to use for collecting trash and whatnot. But like, yeah, your towel or whatever, maybe your pliers, or if you have the hemostats or whatever, right? This is a little insulated cooler pocket for your beverages, and my, it's just whatever. Here's a koozie with the Diet Coke, right? It goes right in, no big deal. I use this kind of as a general dump pocket for, line or hooks or weights or whatever. Like, you can drop just about anything down in there, and it works well as a little dump pocket. But I think obviously they designed it for a beverage in mind. It's got some of these little clips. This thing, I forget what this is for. They make accessories for this. So they took this was, I think, their second bag. The first one had spots for like shotgun shells, and then like you could rest your shotgun on here for like waterfowl hunting or something. I don't know. But anyways, these things don't serve me. So, I mean, if they put more of these D-rings in, that would have been cool, but it is what it is, right? Now the back of this is super padded. Like, this is thick right here. Super comfy. So if you're having to trek a long ways, this is good. The same with these straps. Super padded. More hooks, D-links. It clips in the front. That's super handy because this kind of gets weighty. Speaking of being weighty, with all the junk I keep in this thing, you can tell the handle has started to pull away. It hadn't ripped off yet, and so it is what it is, but I try not to grab it by the handle so much as just the strap anymore, because that's going to rip off eventually. So, and these are obviously super adjustable, right? This will fit. It's a backpack. It'll fit pretty much anyone. The seat is also pretty thick. It spins, full swivel seat, and that's kind of handy. The lid does float. Let's pop it off. This will float, and I have dropped it in the river a couple times because it will roll. It rolls really well. And so if you're on any kind of like sloped bank, it will just roll right down the bank into the water, and then, it'll dry out and it's fine. Like, no big deal. Before we get inside, we'll check these side bags, which have more, there's a pocket there for, whatever. And then you have more molly. It fits these 3600 series tackle boxes. I've got for carp fishing. I call it a river box. I put river. I fish on the Missouri River a lot. This is for like my big fish. On this side, so these have dual zippers. So if one breaks, I've got two more 3600s. All right. So down inside here, I don't know if you can see how it's got that insulation. So I guess they think you're going to put beverages or maybe even put your live fish in there or whatever. I don't do any of that. I just cleaned this out today, and so this is what I keep in here. Some nibbles, whatever. Don't really use those very often. I love these Lindy fish handler gloves. I have both left and right. They're they're great for handling fish, especially any fish that have spines or like gar or anything like that. They're real rugged and puncture resistant. They're also, if you use braid, if you've ever cut your hand on braid like this video, but these will really help if you have to pull your line out or something. I put those on, and you can, tug pretty good. Pliers, right? Scissors. These, they get covered in sand and whatnot, but they serve me well at cutting up fish or line or bait or whatever. This Cast King stuff I know is maybe not for the pro fishermen, might look down on it or whatever. They're more of the Rapala guys. But, you know, it's served me well. So, here, oh, yeah, you're going to have your citronella candle. If you're night fishing or whatever, or there's a bunch of mosquitoes, it's good to have. Lead weights. I got into, I'm a plumber, and so I get lead, I cut lead out from time to time, and so I've been making my own bank sinkers. Whisker Seeker tackle, 60 pound, 50 yards, mono leader. This stuff's okay. I like that it has this little thing that keeps the line inside there. And so, yeah, it's worked well. It's served me well. You gotta have a great big fishing hat, right? Why not? Another Cast King. This is like my tied rigs and stuff like that. It goes in there. And then like, soft plastics, whatever, stuff like that. Oh yeah, look at this little Ryobi fan. Man, I just clipped this to one of my rods and just so nice. You know when it's like 100 degrees in the sun. Little Cast King scale. Got a little grippers. I like that. And I know people are going to lose control here. Another scale, because there's nothing worse than not having your scale. And this goes up to 110 pounds. This one has the hook. So I like having two scales because I want to know how big my fish are. Standard grippers, nothing special there. This is a little shovel, little cat hole shovel. I've used it for like leveling out where I'm trying to set my bucket, especially like I was saying, if it's a slope and there's sand, your bucket's not going to sit right. Right, life straw. You're going to be near water. Emergency situation, good to have. Similar thing with your Gerber survival knife. You can dispatch fish or whatever you need to with that. Just some 20-pound, fluorocarbon. Nothing fancy here. This would maybe be used if that ran out, or if I'm just doing like bass fishing or whatever. This is a little inflatable lantern that's solar powered, illuminated. So again, kind of a night fishing thing. It puts off a real soft glow, and so it's not so violent on the eyes, going from pitch black to a headlamp. So that's what that's about. This can be charged either solar or through a USB charger. So you got to have your battery charger thing, battery pack, small stringer, just because. Tape measure, 9 foot, just in case you catch a monster. This is my antimicrobial Febreze. This is for fabrics. So like I'll spray this or this whole thing. I'll just spray stuff with this. It's like a antimicrobial, smells good stuff that, it is what it is. All right. Got to have one of these. Random bobber that you find probably. This little bag is night fishing stuff. You can hear the bells and there's whatnot. So night fishing stuff. And then this bag has like creature comforts in it. I might go through this stuff. So this is obviously Molly. So these can hook to the front of those. I guess you could try to put it on here sideways. It'd be a little goofy, but is what it is. So that's that. I've used this thing a bunch. Yeah, you can see there's some Missouri River sand in it. It's just I want to say it's a 5-gallon bucket, maybe a 6-gallon bucket. I don't know. But it's just clips on somewhere right here, right back here. And yeah, I've not had any problems with it. I mean, it's just a bucket with a cover. One last thing I forgot that I keep in there most of the time, 99% of the time, are just some like Cast King sunglasses in a little bag. Those I just forgot to put back in there because I was wearing them yesterday, and so I threw those back in there. Nothing worse than being out on the water and fishing and the sun comes out and it's just like blinding water, reflecting off the water, the sunlight, and you're just like, my eyeballs. And I don't wear sunglasses all that often, so keeping some with my fishing gear is critical. Let's see what this weighs, less the, scale here. Let's see if we can't. I know I just said I'm gonna stop lifting that. Oh my gosh. 30, right at 30 pounds. Oh. Jeez Louise. 30 pounds. Yeah, certainly not light. So, Leatherman. I used to keep a Leatherman in here, but I bought those dedicated pliers, and these just get covered. Like where I fish, there's a lot of sand, and if you get sand in here, it's just like gritty and ridiculous. I might get another pair to just keep in the like convenience or survival thing, but that fixed blade knife does a pretty good job, so I don't think I really need another Leatherman. You know, that's just whatever, another half pound to the 30 it already is. And you know, I've seen a bunch of other, man, that sun, I've seen a bunch of other videos of people just kind of talking about them, but without, not necessarily not using them, but not that I've used it in this video, but it seems like the videos I've seen have been people who like, it's like an unboxing video where the thing's brand new and they haven't really, as far as I can tell, used it much. They haven't shown a, you know, what's in it or how they blowed it out or anything like that. And so I might stop this video or pause it and like go through all my stuff. That way you can see exactly what I put in everything. But if you wanted just a review on the, you know, backpack bucket thing itself, this might be the end of that part of the video. I might continue the video to show, you know, whatever, my other stuff. Alright, so these are the Cast King 3600 deals. I like that these go pretty much to the top, so you don't have stuff bouncing around. They're perforated, so sometimes, yeah, you might get a hook that'll come through, but this is supposed to be like some kind of damp-proof thing that, you know, whatever. Anyways, this just has a conglomeration of random stuff that I've probably found and just, you know, random general fishing stuff that's in this one. This one's kind of similar, but this one's mostly hooks. Jeez Louise, there's a ball of hooks right there. Look at these. I like these bait holder hooks. These are gamakatsu, I think, or whatever. See how they have the two barbs there? I do a lot of worm fishing. There's some circle hooks, you know, barrel, no roll, you know, just miscellaneous stuff that you might need. In these just use this one big lip to clip, and then yeah, they have a gasket. I mean, I've never had a problem with it. Anyways, this is my river, or like a, you know, river monster kind of rod, or tackle box. You got your giant, these are Whisker Seeker giant hooks. These are probably like 12-aught, 10-aught, 8-aught, something like that. I don't know. I'm not that meticulous. All of this stuff, you got to use heavy stuff. If you've ever lost a giant fish because of something with your tackle broke, it's so upsetting. Beads. I like these rubber bumpers. You know, hooks. These are pretty slick. These are also Whisker Seeker. This is for like adding a weight in line. It just pushes through there. These are slick. And then same with, like, you know, I was saying, everything has to be heavy duty stuff. 8-ounce, 6-ounce, random weights, but heavy weight because the Missouri River has quite a bit of current. I also use this on the Missouri River, but this is like for carp specific stuff. So you've got these hair rigs, which so basically you have a hook with a little line coming out, and then you take some of this fake corn or whatever, these balls, and you hook them to that hair using one of these little tools and these little plugs, and it drifts it above, and then you use these method lead weights and you pack your bait around that, and then it kind of like chums the water, so to speak. Sometimes, like if I'm catfishing, I'm not having any luck, and I'm like, man, I want to switch to carp fishing, I'll take one of these and I'll hook it to my catfish line, and then I'll clip the weight onto that. That way, these are supposed to be in line, but I don't want to take apart all my rigging just to add one of these. I'll just use those, and it sits a little crooked, but and yeah, you can see this one's all kinds of dirty, got covered in sand and whatnot. But yeah, that's my carp fishing setup. Night fishing bag. So a couple glow sticks. Let's see if we can, see what we can see in here. Oh, geez, give me a second. All right. I've got more bells and, obviously those glow sticks. But this is what I keep in there. A solar charger. So I can charge my phone or my flashlight or headlamp. A bunch of different cords and cables. Bells for hooking onto the rod. Some of these little tiny baby glow sticks. And then this Night Sticks LED powered lighted rod tips. Clearly I've never used these. These bells you can buy for a little bit of nothing and they work really well. Same with these, like people zip tie these to their end of their rod and you can get a million of them for a little bit of nothing. So that's the light. Oh, I guess I've got a lighter as well for the citronella candle. This headlamp I haven't really used yet, but I like that it has a, so there's like a green, there's like a red flashing, and so I like the red. It also has like a motion sensing feature up here if you push that motion sensing button. So I got this from Amazon. This is like a 2-pack for like, again, a little bit of money. Not terribly expensive. But the red or the green, I think, are way better than like a bright white light. And then in this other small bag, this is like my, creature comfort, convenience, emergency, survival type of bag. Again, not really emergency, but like, these detox wipes for if you're hiking through and I'm really allergic to poison ivy, and these are supposed to help kind of stop that. These are just, same thing, like big, large wet wipes. There's like a stick of, not deodorant, but like sunscreen, SPF 50. And so I went with like, this is not going to spill and make a mess. And it's just easy to rub on if you, need it. Same with like your Repel bug spray. Because sometimes, if you're out in those places that are desolate, there's just 1,000 mosquitoes. Lip balm, gotta have the lip balm. Purell, gotta have your hand sanitizer. Make sure that doesn't pop out. An emergency whistle. Again, this is a storm whistle. It's super duper loud and just good if you get lost or something like that, right? A couple of Band-Aids, can opener, because why not? Lighter, more Band-Aids. And so just kind of like, I don't want to be miserable fishing. I don't want to get a bad sunburn. I don't want my lips to be all chapped up or eaten by bugs or poison, creature comfort bag. And so that's pretty much what I take when I go fishing a lot. And obviously, I'm not telling you have to do it this way. I'm not saying this is what it takes to have fun or to be successful or any of that. There's a lot of that you absolutely don't need most of it. You could gut out the vast majority of that and just show up with nothing more than a tackle box and do fine. I just have found that when I go fishing, it's usually for hours at a time, and it's in all kinds of conditions. It might be, I've gone when it's raining, I've gone when it's bitter cold, I go in the summer when it's super hot. Sometimes you're in the shade, sometimes you're in the sun, and it's like, you don't know. And so I kind of like making my trips as comfortable and as fun as possible. And so always having somewhere to sit is key, I think, rather than having to carry another chair with you or whatever. This is kind of purpose built. Plus I don't have to weigh out, let's say I'm having a good night or a good day on the river and it's getting dark. It's like, well, I don't want to go home just because it's getting dark if I'm doing well. So I've got the night fishing stuff already in there ready to go. Same with the scale. Do you need 2 scales? Nah. But the one scale, my Cast King one, I use probably the most. And it works well. Just clip it to the fish, good to go. But if I get a big fish, or if there's probably nothing worse than catching a personal best record fish for yourself just to find out your scale doesn't work. Or you got to take a picture and ask guys on Facebook, hey, how much do you think this weighs? I like knowing my personal best is, 12 pounds or whatever the number is, right? And so that's just my setup. That's what I do. I enjoy it. Is it worth the $160? Probably. To me it is. Someone who I fish quite a bit, I enjoy it a lot. It served me well. If you're just a casual fisher that you don't go, that often, I wouldn't bother.